So here we go, we've got the Chaos Knight, and finally, I like what they've done with this book. They've kind of smashed the two Knight books together. So in the Chaos Knight book, you had to go one of two allegiances, and that gave you a buff, but you didn't have household traits. Whereas in this book, what they've done is they've gave you the household traits, but then gave you the one of two allegiances for the Imperial ones. So there is 5 households here. 3 of them have to go with I think it's Iconoclast, and 2 of them have to be Infernal. So you can take these if you like, but then you always also still get the buffs of Iconoclast and Infernal, and then you've got your own custom ones as well. There's a couple of stratagems, warlord traits, and relics in here to help Chaos Knights out a little bit. But beyond that, it's a small update that I think it's nice. That's what I would describe it as, is nice. So nothing else has changed besides that, apart from they've just got access to more stuff. So Dread Households of Infamy will start with House Herpatrax. Yeah, these are hard to say. So add 2 to the wounds characteristics of models with this bond, and add 1 instead to War Dogs. So that's very similar to the one that I've pointed out in the Imperial Knight review. The Warlord trait. The first time this Warlord is destroyed, if it does not explode, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase, and on a 4+, return this model to player with d3 wounds remaining. Yeah! Artifact of Tyranny, the Crown of Jadathra. When resolving an attack with a melee weapon against a model with this relic, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. Yeah, that's cool. And then you've got Warping Aura as a stratagem. Use it at the end of the fight phase. Select a House Herpatrax model from your army. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 1 inch. And on a 4+, they suffer 1 mortal wound. 1 CP for a 50-50 chance at doing 1 mortal wound. Nah. We've got House Lucaris next. So when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, buy a model with this bond in a turn in which that model's unit made a charge move, was charged, and performed a heroic intervention. Add 1 to the hit rolls. Very cool if you go on combat heavy. The Warlord trait. This Warlord always fights first. Alternate if the opponent has similar abilities. The relic is the Artifact of Tyranny, the Serpent Strike. Model with 2 twin melter guns only. So this would be a Valiant or a Castellan. I think they're called Tyrants in the Chaos Knight book. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, roll 2d6 when inflicting damage with it and discard. So it's just permanent 2d6 damage. That's good. Use this stratagem after a House Lucaris unit has moved across an enemy unit. Select 1 enemy unit that was moved across and roll 1d6. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 5, the unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. And on a 6, it suffers d6 mortal wounds. That's cool. And then we've got House Chimera. When resolving an attack with a melee weapon, by a model with this bond, you can reroll wound rolls of 1. That's quite cool as well. The Warlord trait. When a morale test is taken for an enemy unit within 12 of this Warlord, roll 1 additional d6 and discard the lowest. That's okay. Annihilatum. Model with a Conflagration Cannon only. This relic replaces the Conflagration Cannon. It is strength 7 -2, 3 damage, and it automatically hits. So I think that's 3 damage instead of 2. But then you've got access to House Chimera stratagem, Fury of Surtur's Wake. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Select a House Chimera model from your army. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the model. And on a 4+, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. So why is that? Every enemy unit within 3 and d3 mortal wounds. That is 1 enemy unit. Oh no, it's not. It's each enemy unit, but still 1 mortal wound. So then we've got House Vecatrix and Comotes, which is the was it the Demon Bound ones? Infernal. I couldn't remember the name there. So the Warlord trait is you can give them the following Warlord trait instead. At the start of your moon phase, a Warlord regains 1 lost wound. That's cool. Favoured with the Dark Mechanic, and they've been mentioned more and more as well. But House of Ecotrix, when a unit with this bond is chosen to shoot or fight or fire Overwatch, you can reroll a single hit roll and a single wound roll. That is brilliant. I love that. The relic that you get access to, add 1 to the move characteristic of a model with this relic. In addition, add 1 to the damage characteristic of a Reaper Chainsword or Thunderstrike Gauntlet of a model with this relic. When a model with this relic is destroyed, add 1 to the dice roll to see if it explodes. That's cool. I like that. And then you've got Interception Array. Use this stratagem at the start of your shooting phase and select a House of Vecatrix model from your army until the end of the phase. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by this model, ignore hit roll modifiers and ballistic skill modifiers. Brilliant. Then you've got House Comotes. Profane Symbiosis. Whilst a model with this bond has lost half or more of its wounds, add 1 to its attack. And when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon, add 1 to the hit roll. That's pretty much the same as the Imperial one. In addition, when the model with this bond loses a wound in the psychic phase, roll a dice on it. Yeah, so that's basically combined 2 of the custom ones for the Imperial Knights. The Warlord trait is Dread Hunter. Once per game at the start of your shooting phase, you can declare that your Warlord will make a killing strike. If you do, select 1 ranged weapon this Warlord is equipped with, and until the end of the turn, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. When resolving an attack made with that weapon, you can reroll hit and wound rolls. All I will say is Volcano Lance. Fantastic. And then the relic that we've got, model from House Comotes only. At the start of the shooting phase, select 1 enemy unit within 18 of the model with this relic, and until the end of the turn, when resolving an attack made by a model with this relic, improve the AP of that weapon by 1. That's pretty cool. I would probably do that on a double battle cannon or double Gatling cannon. Knight, I think that would be quite good. And then when you've got Encircling Hounds, use this stratagem during deployment. Select a War Dog unit from your army. You can set it up and say it's encircling the 4, and basically you can bring it on from the table edge, 6 inches from the battlefield edge and 9 from enemy units. Excuse me. And then they then split off into their 3, so you can do that with 3 War Dogs, which is very, very cool. Dread Households are the custom ones. Again, you have to decide whether they are Infernal or Iconoclast. And some of them you're allowed only to take 1 of them. Having read them, it looks as though most of them are very similar to the Imperial ones, with a few differences. So there, when you fire out, do Overwatch, you can reroll the number of attacks that you get. Reroll a single dice when determining damage. Reroll a single hit roll. Geist of Ruin, when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon, treated as having the benefit of cover if you're more than 24 inches away. Melee weapons against vehicles and monsters, you get +1 to hit. 6 inches to the range characteristic if the range is more than 24, 2 inches if it's less. Warp vision, the target doesn't receive the benefit. In fact, these are literally a copy and paste, I think. Yeah, they are. They're absolutely identical. Yeah, again, I don't think you would see that many of these. If I'm honest, I think these 5 are better. Yeah, again, I don't think this breaks Chaos Knights at all. It's just nice to give them a little bit of something that makes them, you know, kind of on par with Imperial Knights now, rather than being limited to Iconoclast or Infernal Household. So, yeah, that is the Chaos Knight review. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this brings them up to par with the Imperial Knights? Would you take any of the custom traits? Which one of the 5 household traits would you take?